They laughed at the human tugboat. Till it took down a fleet, the HSS Vanguard creaked as it dropped out of warp. It wasn't a warship. It wasn't fast, sleek, or scary. It was big, rust-colored, and shaped like a cargo crate with engines. As it slowed into orbit over Midas 4, the coms lit up. Is that a salvage hauler? What's Earth sending no garbage trucks? Laughter filled the channel. Alien voices, sharp and musical, laughed like wind chimes in a storm. Ood. The Archon fleet surrounded the planet, dozens of silver-blue ships in perfect formation. Their blockade had held strong for weeks. No one had broken through now. The humans had sent this. Captain Alina Ward sat in her command chair, listening to the mocking. Oh, She didn't flinch. She didn't speak. She simply watched the Archon ships spin through space like dancers, sleek and deadly. Beside her, Lieutenant Milo glanced up from his console. They're scanning us. No weapons detected. Minimal shielding. They think we're exactly what we look like. They're not wrong, Elena said. Not yet. The bridge of the Vanguard was quiet. It always was. Our crew was small, only 12 people. Salvage operations didn't need more. The ship's AI did most of the work. These humans were more than what their ship suggested. Captain, said Milo, tapping a glowing panel, we just got a priority transmission. Secure channel. Earth command. Alina nodded once. Patch it to my chair. The message came in silent at first, a black screen. Then a single line of white text appeared. Activate Project Black Reef. Full authorization granted. Use discretion. Alina stared at the words. Then she smiled. Finally, she stood. Command crew, war room. 5 minutes. As the others moved to follow, the alien voices crackled in again. Maybe they're lost. Should we tow them back to Earth? More laughter. The Archons were enjoying. This too much. Alina walked through the wide corridor of her ship. The lights were dim. The floors hummed beneath her boots. Machines worked in silence. This wasn't a ship built for war. It was built for patience. For persistence. For secrets. Inside the sealed war room, her officers took their seats. Milo Rowe, her science lead. Lynn, head of engineering. Hallie, the drone specialist. Only for others. That was enough. She activated the table. A holographic display lit up, showing the Vanguard's true systems. Not salvage claws or cargo holds, but deep signal arrays, stealth modules, and buried systems Earth had never told the Alliance about. No one outside this room knows what this ship is really for, Lena said. Not even most of our own crew. She tapped the table. A new model appeared, the Archon fleet. Every ship, every orbit, every energy pulse. We've been tracking their shield emissions since the war started. Black Reef was designed for this. They think we're a salvage ship, Rowe said, grinning. Let them. Their ships, Lynn added, use a networked gravitic shield. We've already captured over a dozen different field patterns from debris. I've built a mimic system that can send false inputs to their net. Could crash the whole fleets. Defenses, if it works, Hallie said. But we need to get inside their net. Alina nodded. That's the problem. We can't just barge in. They'll blast us before we're in range. What if they don't see us come in? Milo said slowly. Everyone looked at him. You mean use the cloak? Lynn asked. Milo nodded. We've got mining drones. They're equipped with old stealth tech. What if we scatter junk, drift in with it, run dark, like wreckage? Alina said. Hallie smiled. Trash among trash. The plan began forming quickly. Deploy cloaked drones, hijacked Archon debris, slip the Vanguard close enough to the shield nexus, then broadcast the false signal, crash the net. They won't know we're a threat until... It's too late, Rowe said. But, Lynn warned, we've never tested this system. If it fails, we fry our core. Or worse. Lena didn't blink. If we do nothing, Midas for burns. You try. They all fell silent. The only sound was the low hum of the Vanguard, still drifting like a ghost through space. Then Alina gave the first real order of the mission. Begin Project Black Reef. Outside the ship, Small panels opened. Dozens of dark, silent drones poured into the void. They moved with precision, scattering like dust on the wind. Each one carried a different stolen fragment of alien tech. Each one began feeding data back to the ship. The Archons kept laughing. They never saw the threat. Not yet, asterisk. The Vanguard floated silently, hidden in a drifting cloud of debris. From a distance it looked like nothing, just another broken ship. Among the ruins of a dozen old battles. That was the point. The drones had done their job well. Wreckage from human Archon and other species ships surrounded the area, cloaking the Vanguard's approach. They weren't moving fast, but they didn't need to. The Archons weren't paying attention. Captain Alina Ward sat still in her chair, eyes on the slowly blinking data feeds. Every few seconds, a new stream of information came through shield pulses. Engine timing, energy signatures. The Archons were predictable. Their technology was powerful, but not as flexible as they believed. "We've mapped 87% of their fleet's gravitic field pattern," said Rowe, hunched over his console. "The signals are repeating, not randomized." "They don't even encrypt most of it." "Overconfident," Alina said. "Just like the report said. They've never fought anyone who studies trash," Hallie added with a grin. "Too proud to learn from wreckage." She guided another drone into a burned-out hulk of an old cargo ship. From there it tapped into leftover comms code buried deep in the circuit's Archon commands, full of repeated access keys. They didn't even scrub their old systems. "They think the war's already won," Lynn said, standing by the power grid readouts. "They're not watching for salvagers." "Good," Alina said. "That gives us time." Lynn turned serious, but not much. "The planet Belometus Fourth. They've started bombardment again." Lena looked at the main screen. Flashes of light blinked along the planet's surface low. Cruel strikes meant to break spirits, not win fast. "They're forcing surrender," Alina said quietly. "One shot at a time." No one spoke. Then a new alarm beeped sharp and fast. "One of the drones is returning," Hallie said. "Something's wrong." The screen lit up, showing a drone pushing toward them, dragging a scorched escape pod behind it. The pod was battered, but intact. Inside, there was movement. "Life signs confirmed," Milo said. "One, maybe two." "Bring it in, Alina." "Ordered medical bay now." The pod was guided in through one of the lower docks. Minutes later, it was aboard. Security teams in light armor surrounded it. The pod opened with a hiss. Inside was one being tall, thin, skin a pale green shimmer. Archon, unconscious. Wounded, Alina stood at the edge of the med bay. Arms folded. "Why would they jettison one of their own?" Milo asked. "Maybe he was. Left behind. Maybe he fled," Alina said. "Either way, he's valuable. Think we can get anything from him?" Rowe asked. Alina nodded. "They use neural implants, tied to their fleet systems. If he's a commander, he might have access." "Keys, you want me to tap into his brain?" Rowe said, surprised. "No," Alina said. "I want you to tap into his implant. Don't touch his brain if you don't have to." They moved the alien to the scanning bay. Rowe worked quickly, placing light metal nodes along the implant's exposed interface. He didn't try to crack it, just listen. "Signal patterns confirmed," Rowe said, eyes wide. "This guy is command tier. His neural signal syncs with at least 3 fleet clusters." "Can we copy it?" Alina asked. "Already?" "Doing it." Hallie leaned over his shoulder. "Can we use it to broadcast?" Rowe paused. "In theory? Yes, if we're close enough. And if they detect it?" Lynn asked. "They might block us," Rowe said. "Or they might think it's real. Depends on how good the mimic is." "Then we better get the mimic perfect," Alina said. "We're not trying to trick one ship. Trying to crack the whole fleet at once." Hallie grinned. "Like hijacking an entire bee swarm using their queen's buzz." "Exactly," Alina said. They worked fast. Rowe built a signal emulator using stolen tech from the Archon Rex. Lynn rerouted the ship's power systems to support a wideband. Broadcast. Milo coordinated drone coverage to mask their signal output. Hours passed like minutes. Tension built, quiet and sharp. Then, A low beep. Signal emulator ready, Rose said. All systems green, we can mimic a fleet command burst. Alina nodded. Don't send it yet. Not until we're inside their net. Lino's voice came through next. We'll be in range in 15 minutes. No sign they've noticed us. They will, Alina said. But by then, we'll already be inside. She looked out the window. The Archon ships drifted like sharks, blind to the wreck hidden among them. They laughed when they saw a salvage ship, she said softly. Let's give them a reason to stop laughing. The Vanguard drifted deeper into the Archon fleet's blockade, still cloaked by the cloud of debris, still pretending to be nothing more than scrap. The enemy ships were close now, just a few kilometers away. Huge, blade-like cruisers with glowing fins and quiet engines. They didn't even glance at the slow-moving wreck among the wreckage. Captain Alina Ward watched the screen carefully. Her crew sat at their stations, tense but focused. We're almost inside their command net, Milo said. Signal strength is peaking. We won't be able to tell the difference once we broadcast. Any sign they've noticed us? Lena asked. Hallie shook her head. No. All their scans are looking outward. They're watching for fast attackers. Not this, Rowe added. We've mapped their full network. If we inject our mimic signal right at the node junction, we might disrupt their shield sync. Their gravitic fields go down at once. And if it fails, Lynn asked quietly, then we've just told the entire fleet where to shoot, Rowe said. Alina nodded. No pressure then. They were only 5 minutes from the target point now. The perfect spot, right at the heart of the Archon net. Their shields, communications, and targeting systems would be vulnerable. The human plan worked. Drones are holding position, Hallie reported, ready to send interference bursts if needed. It'll give us a few seconds of cover. Let's hope we don't need them, Elena replied. In the medical bay, the Archon prisoner still lay unconscious, but his implant was working. Rowe had cracked the sync codes. The mimic system pulsed softly now, matching his neural signal. It's almost poetic, Hallie said, tapping her console. We're using one of their own to shut them down. No one understands salvage like humans, Alina said. They reached the point. All systems green, Milo said. Broadcast is ready on your mark. Alina stood. She didn't need to give a speech. Her crew knew what they were doing. So they were outnumbered, outgunned, and floating in the middle of a hostile fleet. One wrong signal, and it was over. Do it, she said. Rowe pressed the command. The Vanguard's hidden antennas lit up silently. No beam, no flash. Just a smooth, perfect copy of an Archon fleet command burst. Nothing happened for 3 seconds then. Everything happened at once. Across the Archon fleet, dozens of ships began to shift. Shield fields collapsed. Some ships drifted slightly out of formation. A few even spun slowly, unsure of their new orders. They're confused, Milo said. We hit the network hard. I think it's a real command override. Hallie grinned. They're listening to us now. Lena stared at the display. Push the second signal. Spike their shield sync. Rowe nodded. The second burst fired. It didn't disable their weapons, but it scattered their fleet cohesion. Archon ships began to back away from each other, trying to reset. Then came the danger! Hostile ping, Milo shouted. One of their ships just locked onto our drone net. Which one? Lena asked. Dreadnought, big one. It's looking right at us. So much for staying hidden. It's charging weapons, Milo added. 10 seconds to impact. Activate magnetic cloak. Full reverse thrust, Elena ordered. Move us behind the wreck cluster now. The Vanguard groaned as its engines flared to life. The giant ship turned, slipping behind a thick field of floating metal. At the same time, Hallie sent the drones into overdrive, flooding the area with false signals and pulse noise. The blast came. A wave of plasma hit the wreckage ahead of them. Shrapnel flew past the ship, but the Vanguard stayed untouched. There. Scanning, Hallie said, trying to find us. But the junk field is confusing their sensors. We bought ourselves a little time, Alina said. But now they know something's wrong. We have another option, Lynn said quietly. It's risky, but it'll send a message. She tapped her screen, showing a reprogrammed piece of Archon weaponry, a pulse cannon scavenged from a wreck, now attached to the Vanguard's lower hull. "You want to fire their weapon at them?" Milo asked. "Yes," Lynn said. "We tuned it to their resonance. If we hit a ship whose shields are down, it might cause a full overload." "One shot," Alina said, "then we disappear." "Agreed," Lynn said. Ro picked a target one of the command frigates, drifting slightly as it reset. "Fire," Lena ordered. The pulse cannon hummed, then released a bolt of bluish light. It hit the Archon frigate directly. The ship didn't explode. It cracked. The blast sent a ripple through the vessel's hull. Lights died. The ship spun slowly, powerless. The Archon fleet noticed. Milo looked at the screen. "They know now." "Come for us. Then we disappear," Elena said. "Turn us around. Back into the wreck field. Let the ghosts hide us again." As the Vanguard retreated, Elena smiled. "Let them wonder how a salvage ship just broke a command ship in half." Asterisk, the Vanguard moved slowly, almost lazily, back into the thickest part of the wreck field. Chunks of twisted hull, melted engines, and broken towers drifted around them like metal icebergs. Behind them, the Archon command frigate was still tumbling. Completely disabled, no one on the Vanguard spoke for a few seconds. Everyone just watched the screen, waiting. Then Milo said, "They're not moving." Hallie frowned. "Are they frozen?" "That shot knocked out a command ship. Why haven't they retaliated?" "They're scanning," Rose said, watching the data. "Pour in. Big scans, full spectrum, deep sweep, everything. They're trying to figure out what hit them." "Which means," Alina said, "they still don't know it was us." She leaned forward, eyes sharp. "Good. Let's keep it that way." Lynn, standing at her engineering console, looked up. "But we can't keep hiding forever. If they get even one visual, or pick up the mimic signal's origin, they'll swarm us." "Which is why we hit them again," Alina said. "While they're still confused, you want to fire another pulse cannon?" Milo asked. "No," Alina said. "We've shown them one trick. It's time to show them another." She nodded at Ro. "Use the implant. Push a fake fleet-wide retreat order. Let's see if they'll follow it." Ro hesitated. "We're not sure how deep the implant's control goes. If the signal's too strong, they'll know it's not real. If it's too weak, nothing happens." "Find the sweet spot," Alina said. "Make it look messy, like a desperate signal. Scared command. Emergency recall." Ro smiled. "Scared command? I can do that." I got to work, adjusting the wave signature and layering in a panicked voice pattern using the Archon prisoners. Neural code. A signal was born jagged, fast, full of false urgency. "Broadcasting," he said. The signal shot out. Carried on the same channel the Archon fleet used. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't clean. But it was believable. Milo stared at the screen. There, shifting formation. "Some of their outer ships are pulling back. I think the order's real," Hallie said, amazed. "They're falling for it." "Not all of them. The dreadnought's not moving. Neither are 3 destroyers near the planet. They must be controlled locally," Lynn said. "Higher clearance, maybe not tied to the net." Which means Alina said we just cleared half the blockade. "But the biggest guns are still in place." "Then we need to distract them too," Hallie said. "Hard." Alina nodded. "Let's give them something to look at." Lynn tapped her screen again. "We've got enough leftover Archon tech too. Fake a signature burst. I can rig it to explode and make it look like a sabotaged ship tried to escape." "Even better," Alina said. "Make it look like the Vanguard. Give them a reason to chase a ghost." Lynn worked fast, assembling parts from recovered drones and weapon scraps. In just a few minutes, a decoy was ready, a floating wreck wrapped in sensor-reflective panels. It carried a pulse generator, designed to scream the Vanguard's signal as loud as possible. Hallie launched it into the debris field. It drifted slowly, just like the Vanguard, heading in the opposite direction. "Triggering now," Lynn said. The signal burst to life. The decoy blinked like a beacon. It looked like a human ship running for its life. "Enemy ships are turning," Milo said. 5 Archon cruisers just broke formation, heading straight for the decoy. They're biting, Hallie grinned. Chase the shiny thing. Let's not stick around to watch, Alina said. Plot a new course, slip behind their control net, and find the broadcast tower. Milo looked up. You're going after their command relay? Alina nodded. Their whole fleet runs on it. Break the relay, and their net collapses. That's how we stop the siege. Lynn hesitated. It's protected. Heavy shields, probably mines. We won't survive a direct run. Won't go direct, Alina said. We'll ghost in again. Piece by piece. She turned to Hallie. How many drones do we have left? 23, Hallie said. 18 are flight ready. That's enough, Alina said. We use the wreck field to cover our approach. Send the drones ahead, one by one. Map a safe path. Then we sneak through. And if they catch us this time? Milo asked. Then we fight with what we've got, Alina said. We've stolen their data, their weapons, their voice. Now let's steal their pride. The crew nodded. There was no fear now, just quiet determination. Outside the wreck field. Turned slowly in space, and the Vanguard vanished deeper into the debris, heading straight for the heart of the enemy. The drones moved first. One by one, they floated through the debris, weaving between broken hulls and silent wrecks. They looked like junk half-scrap bots, barely active. But each one carried sensors, silent coms, and a piece of the path. The Archons didn't notice. Their fleet was still distracted. Chasing the decoy that Lynn had launched, Captain Alina Ward stood at the center of the bridge, eyes on the map forming in front of her. The drone data came together like puzzle pieces, tracing a narrow route through mines, turrets, and sensor nets toward the Archon command relay. There, said Hallie, pointing at a dim cluster of towers floating in orbit above Midas IV. That's the relay. Big power signature, heavy shielding, but no armor. It's not built to take hits, it's built to command. And that's our target, Alina said. Milo frowned at the display. But if they see us heading that way, they'll know. It'll blow the surprise. They won't see us, Rose said, working his console. I've mapped the sensor pings. There's a dead zone if we pass through the debris belt at the right angle. It's tight, but doable. How tight? Alina asked. 10 meters, Rose said. It's by more than that, and we light up every alarm they've got. Alina nodded slowly. We'll take it. Lynn raised an eyebrow. You trust our thrusters that much? I trust you, Alina said simply. Lynn blinked. Then she turned back to her station and began prepping the engines. Minutes passed. The crew moved with practiced calm. No wasted words. No panic. The system was checked twice. Every signal tested, muted, then tested again. Course plotted, Milo said. Final window hits in 3 minutes. Start the drift, Alina ordered. No engines, no noise. Let momentum carry us through. The Vanguard's main thrusters shut down. A quiet hum faded into silence. In the cold dark of space, the ship began to glide, slow and steady, like a dead thing. Outside, debris floated all around. Metal, dust, wires, even pieces of ancient ships. It was beautiful in a broken way, like a graveyard dressed in starlight. They passed an old Terran mining rig, half split in two. Its light still blinked faintly. Hallie saluted it as they drifted by. 1 minute to sensor window, Rose said. Alina stood completely still, her hands behind her back, eyes on the view ahead. No one spoke. Even the breath of the ship seemed to slow. Now, Milo whispered, the Vanguard turned ever so slightly. Not with engines, but with magnetic steering and micropulses. They slipped through the gap. 10 meters of clearance. It felt like 10 centimeters. Cleared the net, Rose said, exhaling. We're invisible again. Yeah, then they saw it. The Archon. Command relay hung in space like a floating crown. Now spires reached out in all directions, humming with energy. Dozens of sensor dishes rotated slowly, feeding orders to the entire fleet. That's it, Alina said. If we knock that offline, they lose central command. The whole net collapses. But how? Hallie asked. We don't have cannons. Not the kind that can crack that shell. Ro tapped his screen. We don't need to break it. We just need to blind it, He zoomed in on one of the towers. See these input lines? They handle signal balancing. If we overload them with raw feedback, it'll cause a loop, a crash, maybe even a full reset. We need a delivery system, Lynn said. Something to get that overload into the core. Hallie grinned. I've got just the thing. She ran to the drone bay and came back with a modified scout drone. It was ugly patched with wires and spare parts, but powerful. This baby's got a full charge coil and a feedback spike. Hallie said, we send it in, it rides the signal lines right into their heart. Boom, they're blind. Elena gave a single nod. Send it. The drone launched. It moved faster than the others, darting from shadow to shadow. No lights, no noise, just purpose. It reached the edge of the relay structure in less than 2 minutes. Almost there, Hallie said. Just a few meters more. Suddenly, Milo spoke. Our conships. 3 of them are headed this way. I think they saw something. Saw the drone? Alina asked. No, Milo said. They saw us. For the first time, the bridge went silent in fear. They're scanning hard, Ro added. We're lit up. They'll open fire in seconds, Lynn said. You can't take 3 hits at this range. Alina didn't hesitate. Boost the drone now. Full speed. Done, Hallie said, slamming the command. On the screen, the drone zipped forward like a bullet, pierced the relay shell and vanished into the structure. A second passed. Then the whole relay went dark. No lights, no signals. Across space, Archon ships began to drift out of formation, confused, blind. They've lost central control, Rose said. We did it, but Milo shouted. We've got incoming fire. Lena didn't flinch. Activate the cloak. Dive back into the wreck field. Make us disappear. The ship turned sharply, vanishing into the metal fog just as 3 beams shot. Passed, missing by inches. They'll chase us now, Milo said. Let them, Alina answered. But they'll be chasing a salvage ship with their whole fleet in chaos. She sat back in her chair, calm again. Let's go break the siege. Asterisk, the vanguard moved like a shadow, weaving back into the wreck field just as the first enemy. Shots burned through space. The Archon patrol ships were fast, sleek, and furious. But they were also confused. Their command relay was down, and without it, their coordination broke apart. They're chasing us, Milo said, gripping his console. But their targeting is sloppy. They're not syncing their weapons. They're flying solo now, Alina said. That's our edge. Hallie was already launching decoy drones, scattering false signals across the wreckage. I'm throwing noise at them. They won't know which blip is real. The screen lit up with scattered signals. Some looked like ships, others like weapons charging. The Archon sensors would be overwhelmed trying to sort it all out. Ready if they land a shot, Lynn said. But don't expect miracles. This ship was built for hiding, not brawling. We won't brawl, Elena replied. We dance. One of the Archon ships fired again. A plasma burst grazed a floating piece of metal where the vanguard had been just seconds earlier. Exploded in a flash, shaking nearby wrecks. Too close, Milo muttered. Good, Alina said. Let them get close. Let them focus on us. Behind them, Midas IV hung silent, still under siege. But now the fleet above it was in chaos. Dozens of Archon ships drifted out of formation. Some turned circles, some stopped completely. Without the relay, their fleet's hive mind was cut off. The blockade's falling apart, Rose said. Watching the feeds, they're still trying to regroup, but nothing's sticking. They'll fix it, Alina said. It's just a matter of time, so we hit them before they can. Hallie looked up. You're serious? You want us to hit the whole fleet? No, Alina said. It's their heart, she pointed to. A blinking cluster on the screen, that's the Dreadnought, biggest ship they've got, still fully active. If we take that out, the rest might break for real. Milo shook his head. That thing has 10 times our firepower. Do we? Don't fight fair, Alina said. Lynn, how's our last Archon cannon? Still functional, Lynn replied, but it's only got 1 clean shot left. After that, it burns out. That's all we need, Alina said. We get close, hit the Dreadnought's bridge with its own weapon, and vanish before they react. How do we get that close? Milo asked. Hallie smiled. I've got 1 drone left. It's slow, But if I strap an engine to it, we can ride behind it like a shadow. Like tailgating a comet, Lynn said. Risky, but smart.
Ow.
They gotta work fast. Hallie modified the drone, fitting it with an old fusion thruster and just enough fuel for a one-way sprint. The plan was simple. The drone would charge toward the dreadnought, giving off just enough heat to look like an attack. The Archons would chase it. The Vanguard would coast in behind, invisible until it was too late. Ready, Hallie said. Launching in 3, 2, 1. The drone blasted forward, wobbling slightly from its uneven shape. It shot through the debris field, heading straight toward the Archon dreadnought. The Archon ship saw it. Lights flared. Cannons turned. They're tracking the drone, Milo confirmed. They don't see us. Good, Alina said. Line up the shot. The Vanguard followed close behind the drone, using its heat trail to mask their presence. The dreadnought loomed ahead like a mountain of steel, lights blinking, guns. Glowing, Lynn activated the cannon. Target locked. Now, Alina ordered. The stolen Archon cannon fired. It wasn't flashy, just a sharp, clean beam of energy that cut through space like a blade. It struck the dreadnought's bridge. Da-dawn, the bridge exploded in a silent burst of fire and debris. Lights flickered across the dreadnought's hull. It drifted, turning slowly, dead in space. The Archon fleet froze. They saw it, Milo said. Their command ship just went dark. All remaining Archon vessels are breaking formation. Ro added. Some are retreating. Others, they're just powering down. Alina stood slowly. Send a signal to the colony. Let them know the siege is broken. Milo tapped his console. Message sent. Cheers broke out on the bridge. Hallie clapped. Lynn smiled for the first time in hours. Even Ro leaned back in his chair, breathing out. They never saw us coming, Hallie said. They saw junk, Alina replied. We showed them what junk can do. She sat down, calm and steady. Now, she said, let's go home. And the Vanguard, slow, battered, and brilliant, turned quietly away from the wreckage, leaving behind a broken blockade and a message the galaxy would never forget. ChatGPT said. The Vanguard limped through space, its hull scorched and patched with emergency welds. The engines hummed unevenly. Lights flickered across some decks. But the ship was still moving and, more importantly, still alive. Behind it, the battlefield was quiet. The Archon fleet, once a wall of steel and fire, was broken. Some ships had fled. Others drifted without power, scattered like leaves in a storm. The command net was down. The dreadnought was gone. The siege of Midas 4 was over. On the bridge, Captain Alina Ward sat in silence, watching the stars ahead. The colony just confirmed full coms, Milo said from his console. They're safe. Supplies are landing. No more shelling. Alina nodded. Good. That's what we came for. Lean leaned back in her chair. Never thought I'd help take down a siege using scrap and stolen parts. That's why we're different, Alina said. Everyone else builds for war. We build to adapt. Lynn wiped grease from her hands and stood beside the damaged systems panel. We've got weeks of repairs ahead. Some systems are fried for good, but we're still flying, Alina said. Ro turned his chair around, and the data we gathered, gold. Every second of that battle told us more about Archon tech than 10 years of spying. Milo smiled. I think Earth Command's going to pay attention to us now. They'd better, Hallie said. We just won a battle that wasn't supposed to be winnable. A soft chime came from the comm station. Milo raised an eyebrow. Incoming transmission. High priority. Looks like it's from Admiral Cass. Put it through, Alina said. The screen blinked, then filled with the face of Admiral Cass' graying hair, dark uniform, sharp eyes. But today those eyes looked different, worn and impressed. Captain Ward, Cass said, I've just finished reading your full report. I don't know if I should court-martial you or give you a medal. Alina stayed still. We acted on a standing emergency protocol, sir. The situation on Midas 4 required improvisation. Cass gave the smallest of smiles. Improvisation. Is it you hijacked a neural implant? Crashed an enemy command relay? Used a fake drone to ghost into a dreadnought and blew it up with its own weapon. We followed the mission objective, Elena replied. Protect the colony. Cass leaned back in her chair. You didn't just protect them. You changed the way the Alliance sees warfare. The Archons didn't fall because we outgunned them. They fell because they never expected a salvage crew to outthink them. There was a pause, and Cass continued. You've got attention now, Captain. Real attention. Some of it's admiration, some of it's fear. You embarrassed the Archons and you did it using their own tools. That makes you dangerous. We're not dangerous, Elena said. We're prepared. Cass nodded. Maybe, in any case, Earth Command is calling you in for a full debrief. The Vanguard is to return to Sol Station immediately. You and your crew will be honored, likely assigned to a new class of missions. The screen blinked out. For a moment, no one on the bridge spoke. Then Hallie said, New missions. What? Like more garbage runs through war zones? Sounds about right, Lynn said, smiling. Milo chuckled. I'll take it. Long as we get a few engine upgrades, Ro added. In a real science lab this time. One that shares space with the food replicators. Elena stood and looked at each of them. Tired, bruised, but proud. We proved something out here, she said. That being slow doesn't mean being weak. That salvage isn't useless. Humans still think differently. She walked to the wide viewport. Midas 4 was a small now, quiet, peaceful. They thought we were just a cleanup crew, she said. Now they know better. Lights flickered again. Lynn cursed and banged a panel. Okay, Elena said. Let's limp back to base. We've got a new story to tell. The Vanguard turned gently, slow as always. Its engines glowed faintly. No flash, no roar, just a steady push through the stars. And as it drifted into the distance, quiet and unremarkable once again, the galaxy slowly began to understand. Sometimes the most dangerous ship in space is the one nobody sees coming.